Hey, Bougie Club. Happy Sunday. Hold on. I give you guys a minute to get in. I apologize for being late, but I got caught up in the show I was watching. But more importantly, I really didn't feel like showing up today. And I think that's a befitting topic for today is showing up when you don't feel like showing up. And and you know what? I'm giving myself credit for showing up when I didn't feel like showing up. Now, I've progressed today because I've been in my pajamas all day. I had my hair bonnet on. And I started to come on live in my pajamas and my hair bonnet. But for those of you who know me, know I loathe hair bonnets. So I forced myself to get dressed so that I could look halfway presentable when I came online. But you know, there's days where we don't feel like showing up, right? And people don't give us credit for showing up even when we don't feel like it. Like some of you all went to church today and you didn't feel like showing up, but you went. Some of you guys are going to go to work tomorrow and you're going to show up even though you don't feel like it. And there's going to be many people who don't appreciate the fact that you showed up when you don't feel like showing up. So for those of you who show up when you don't feel like showing up, hey, see ya. Hats off to you for showing up even when you don't feel like it. See, Miss Carlish, you understand. And we don't give ourselves credit for showing up when we don't feel like it. And so I'm sharing this with you all because there'll be situations where someone will show up for you, for your kids, for work, for a party, for a project, for an event. And you'll be feeling some type of way because let's be honest, when you show up, when you don't feel like showing up, more than often you're half-assed, right? You're not going all out. You're not giving it the 100% because on the inside, it probably took everything you had just to put on the clothes, just to comb your hair. And if you did that much, you know, it's like, okay, for example, I put the headband on. I didn't feel like putting the headband on, you guys. So you know you won't get no makeup, no lip gloss, nothing extra. And so you'll interact with people who are giving you the best that they have to give at that particular moment. And them showing up is all that they could give you because they don't have it. Like one of the things I often hear, especially with having conversation with women, from being a single mother and having conversations with other single mothers, they'll get mad because the dad showed up but he didn't bring anything, or the dad took the child out and brought him back dirty and then changed their clothes. You don't know, it probably took everything that man had just to show up to get the kid. It probably took him everything he had just to be present in that day of activities. And I say that because they're not equipped like we're equipped. They can learn how to be equipped. So my son is dating a young lady who has a daughter. And she wasn't able to get off from work, so he took his girlfriend's daughter to the dentist. And she had to have some work done, like a cap or something. And I was on the phone with him, and he was like freaking out because she was crying, and he couldn't figure out how to keep her from crying because he didn't have any kids. He has never done this before. This was his first time ever taking a kid to a doctor's appointment and sitting through this process, and she ended up having like some caps put on her mouth. Well, the numbings, whatever, was wearing off, and she was doing fine. Like they went to McDonald's and he was waiting for her prescription for her pain medicine to get filled. And you know, she started crying, and he was like, baby, just wait a minute. And I'm cracking up because this is funny to me. But it's like he's trying to do everything that he can think to calm the little girl down, because she's understandably, now the medicine is wearing off, she's in pain. And so, you know, he's trying to bribe her, and he was like, I was going to give her some candy, but I can't give her candy because she was like, I just got my tooth pulled and you're going to give me candy. And so he's going through this thing, and so he ends up taking her to my mom's house. Now, her mom was okay with it, but there would be some mamas that I had, and this has been me before, so I'm talking to myself, will have an attitude because the dad or the guy or whoever dropped the baby off at his mama's house. It's not that he didn't want to do it, it's just that he was confronted with a situation that he didn't know how to handle, and he was doing the best that he could do. He showed up, but he recognized that he didn't have the ability or the tools to deal with the situation. So what did he do? He took the baby to his grandma, who he knew had experience like this. Was like, look, what am I supposed to do? I still need to run errands because this is my off day, but I don't know how to manage this little kid and her pain. Can you watch her while I do it? Now, see, some of y'all mamas would have been mad because he dropped the baby off at the grandmama house. But he might have just been doing everything he could, and in him showing up, he recognized that he didn't have the ability. So maybe he brings your child back early. Maybe he doesn't change her clothes or his clothes because he like, look, he had been hollering all that. He ain't hollering. He happy. I know he got mud on him, but I'm just going to let him do him so we can, you know, have a good time, visit him, and then drop him back home. Off back home. So what I'm saying is, and I know y'all like, what does that have to do anything? I'm saying this because sometimes we're not fully equipped to deal with situations, but we still show up. And so I want you to give people credit. I want you to give yourself credit for showing up anyway, even if you don't have everything together, even if you don't have all of the tools together. I appreciate you for showing up. I appreciate me for showing up, because the easier thing for me to do would have been continue binge watching The Good Fight on my Fire Stick. However, I've made a commitment to you all, and you're accustomed to me coming live and sharing my thoughts with you on Sunday. So today I showed up. I'm not showing up in all my glory. You know, I didn't put no lip gloss on. I washed my face, and I got in the shower, and I washed my behind, and I threw a headband on. Look, I'm just gonna keep it 100 with y'all. This is how I'm showing up today. I still have conditioner in my hair from Friday. Why? Because I don't feel like washing my hair today. But that does not change the fact that I have an obligation to come live on Sundays at 6 o'clock. So I'm showing up, but there'll be somebody that might feel some type of way because maybe the conversation doesn't go. I'm just saying, sometimes people show up and you get disappointed because they didn't show up how you expected them to show up. And I want you to understand that sometimes people are showing up with all that they have to give you at that particular moment. So don't discount the fact that they showed up. They didn't cancel, they didn't give up, they didn't stay at home, they didn't call off sick. No, maybe they don't have the best outfit on. And I had to say that because I really didn't feel like taking off my bonnet today, but I'm judgy. I'm just gonna be 100. I have an issue with people who go out in public with their bonnets on and their pajamas on and their house shoes on. I think those are articles of clothing that should be worn indoors at home. That's what I believe. It's my belief. That's just how I operate. But how I felt today gave me more compassion, empathy, or understanding for those individuals that I do see out in the public with their bonnet on, their pajamas on, or their house shoes on, because today that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to show up in my hair bonnet. Now something in me just wouldn't let me do it, but now I could kind of understand where those sisters are coming from. But I want them to, like push past that and just go ahead, and just put your little raggedy headband on and let your fro look crazy. But if you see a sister out in her fro looking crazy and she at the grocery store, understand it might have took everything she had just to get out the store and go to the grocery store so she can get the food to feed her kids today, because she may not have wanted to get out of the bed. She may have just wanted to stay in the bed. She may have just wanted to let the kids be hungry, but she pushed past how she was feeling and she showed up at the grocery store. So the next time you see somebody out and you kind of want to be judgy or turn your nose up on them, just say, you know what, sis, I appreciate you showing up today. You know, brother man, I appreciate you showing up today, because sometimes, and I'm having one of those days, it takes everything you have in you just to show up. Like, you're not messed up about what you looking like. All you know is that you got to be there. You got to get there. So if your co-worker comes to work tomorrow and you notice that they half washed their face and you can still see an eye booger in the corner of their eye, don't judge them. It probably took everything they had to show up at work today, because they probably really wanted to call off, but perhaps they didn't have any more sick time, no more vacation days, because we just coming out the hallway, out the holidays, so they showed up. Give that coworker credit for showing up. And be nice, because you can look at them and tell it's one of those days. So don't exacerbate the situation and get to nitpicking, or this was due on Friday, why you ain't have. Give them a moment. Give them a moment. And give them credit for showing up today. It may be your boss. It may be your coworker. It may be the security guard. It may be the janitor. Like, it may be the person at the traffic light that's not going, but you in a rush, and they still got their brake lights on, but the light being green. Don't honk your horn at them. Don't lay on your horn at them. They doing everything they can to show up wherever they need to show up that day, whether it's today or tomorrow. Have a little compassion. It's so many of us who are doing everything we can just to show up. And what I want you guys to do is give people credit for showing up. It's so many of us going through so many things, and there's so much pressure from the social media to the world to your family to society to the obligations and the commitments that you made to show up in this picture perfect box. And sometimes you just don't feel like it. Today, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it, but I showed up. And so I'm giving myself credit for showing up. You guys showed up. I appreciate you for showing up. So when you see somebody else, and we've talked about, once you know who you are, you can kind of see you and somebody else. You'll be able to look at somebody and tell that it's taking them everything they have just to show up. So be a little kinder. Show a little empathy. And if you having one of those days, I'm happy that you showed up. I appreciate you showing up. If nobody else tells you that they're grateful for you showing up, I appreciate you showing up. So that's all I got for y'all. Sometimes you don't feel like it. And sometimes the best you can do is show up. So give people credit for showing up. They could have called off. They could have skipped out on you. They could have not answered the phone. But sometimes they're giving you all that they have by just showing up. So if you know somebody who's just showing up, thank them and be like, you know what, I appreciate you showing up. Maybe that's the thing we should do. I'm going to challenge y'all with that. Start thanking people for showing up. If you invite somebody out to dinner and they come, tell them thank you for showing up. If somebody comes over to visit, thank them for showing up. When your co-workers come in for work tomorrow and they pass your desk or they come and sit down, thank them for showing up. Like, yeah, I really appreciate you being here today. You can't imagine how far that can take somebody, because so many times we feel unappreciated because nobody ever expresses gratitude in the capacity in which we should for the little things. Like if it's something big where there is like a physical exchange or a tangible exchange of something that you can see, then we're more apt to say thank you. But sometimes we don't thank people for the little things. And when I say little things, sometimes we think showing up can be a little thing, but it might be the greatest task that that person has accomplished today. So thank people for showing up. I appreciate you all for showing up. Hey, Miss Mays. Yeah, see, it must be a bougie club vibe today then, because Miss Carlise was in her pajamas and her bonnet today. Miss May said she was having one of those days. And so, I'm giving you guys, not that you need it, but I'm giving you permission to have one of those days. It's okay. We all have them every now and then. Now, if you have several of them in a row, then, you might need to do some self-reflection and figure out what's going on. But if you have one of those days, we all have one of those days. And so if you run into somebody that's having one of those days, let them have their day and just thank them for showing up. Thank them for showing up. Hey, Miss Willeen. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all, Bougie Club. I appreciate you all showing up. I appreciate me showing up. I appreciate you all allowing me to show up with you all every Sunday and whenever I choose to go live. I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate you all allowing me to be transparent, or as I like to say, to get naked with y'all and just speak my truths. Keep showing up. I'm proud of you. You got this. We got this. We're going to press forward. I love you all, as always, in this life and the next. I want to encourage you all to be bold, outspoken, unapologetic, goodwill, inspiring, and epic every day, because it's epic to show up even when you don't feel like it. I love you all, and good night.